Hello, welcome to America.
Immigration. Millions of people traveling out of their homelands in search of a better lifestyle. In the late 1800s, millions of Irish, German, Italian, and other Eastern Europeans came to the United States of America with the intention of creating a better life for themselves. Although successful, many immigrants faced hardships upon arriving to America, the land of the free.
Nativism was the belief held by Protestant Anglo-Saxons, who felt they were the natives of North America, disregarding the Native Americans who had been there centuries before. Nativism came into play around the time of the potato famine, with thousands of Irish fleeing to America. While Protestants had disagreements over how the church should be organized, they were all united in their fear of the negative influence of Catholics in society. The Know Nothing Party, created in 1849, also got started because of an influx in immigration. They called for immigration to be restricted. For example, immigrants not being allowed to hold public office. They deemed Catholics to be untrustworthy because they would be more loyal to the Pope than to the United States. The radical members of the party feared the Catholics were trying to take over the United States. The name Know Nothing comes from the reluctance to share party doctrines with non-members. If questioned, the members would simply reply with, "I know nothing."
I know nothing!
The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 was the first significant law to restrict immigration into the United States. Although the Chinese workers made up only 0.002% of the nation's population, this didn't stop Congress from passing the Exclusion Act to pacify the demands of workers and diminish the widespread concerns about maintaining white racial purity.
Get out of my country!
Americans generally dislike the Chinese, resulting in displays of ethnic discrimination and leading to both economic and cultural tension. In 1880, James B. Angel was appointed by the Hayes administration to negotiate a new treaty with China, stating that the United States could not completely forbid Chinese immigration. However, they could restrict it. In 1882, Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, suspending the immigration of Chinese laborers into the U.S. for 10 years.
The National Origins Act of 1924 was a component of the Immigration Act of 1924. This established a quota system for determining how many immigrants could enter the United States, restricted by country of origin. The act represents a significant redesign of the American immigration system for many decades in the mid-20th century. The restriction on immigration picked up in 1907 when the Dillingham Commission recommended to restrict immigration from Southern and Eastern Europe, saying that immigration from those countries were undesirable. There were also some theories about immigration. The melting pot theory is a metaphor for describing the assimilation of immigrants into American culture. It relies on the image of people from different cultures and backgrounds mixing and melting together into one big cultural pot. The melting pot metaphor comes from the fusing together of melted metal material.
In recent times, the melting pot theory has been replaced by the salad bowl theory. While the melting pot theory assumes all immigrants adapt into a new culture, just with small hints or tastes of their old culture, the salad bowl theory provides a more accurate picture of the American immigration situation. Once arriving in America, each immigrant retained their culture and created enclaves with similar people. For example, bunched up carrots as the Irish, and croutons as the Italians, with the ranch dressing of new opportunities and a growing American identity coating them all.
The German migrations began around the 1830s and continued into the 1880s. The Anabaptists, part of the German migration, were persecuted for their belief in adult baptism. German immigrants tended to settle into already established German communities. Also, they mainly returned to their original careers, with a majority being farmers and craftsmen. This fostered a sense of resentment among Americans, for it created job competition.
I hate those Germans. Potato famine?
A potato famine?
The Irish, fleeing the potato famine of 1840, mostly settled in Boston. Eventually, the Irish made up 70% of the Boston population. The Irish were less respected than the earlier German immigrants. The English residents of Boston viewed the Irish as cheap labor, although job seekers were often met by signs saying, "Irish need not apply."
The maternal side of my family immigrated from Ireland. My great-great-grandmother Johanna McCarty and her sister came to America in the late 1850s. They worked as servants in wealthy people's homes, and they were a part of the Irish community in Boston. My family still incorporates Irish traditions in our lives. St. Patrick's Day is a big holiday in my family, and my aunts and I wear claw rings every day, and so does my mom.
Italian immigrants in the late 1800s, almost all from southern Italy, passed through the recently built immigration faculties at Ellis Island. This group of immigrants did not have the desirable skills for jobs, being farmers and unskilled laborers. Women were employed doing piecework or working in sweatshops. Men worked as unskilled laborers. They mostly settled in downtown New York, and these low-paying jobs only afforded them the lowest level of housing.